guys, what's going on, and welcome back to What Shall We Do Next. And today I wanted to share a little tip with you guys on how to watch a movie that you've seen a million times over and over again, and to watch it but make it feel like it's the first time again. And trust me, this works. It's like, I know I know it sounds crazy. I'm not just a crazy person. This really works, at least for me it does anyway. Have you ever watched a movie that you love repeatedly again and again and again, to the point where it's like you don't want to admit it because you love the movie, but you're like, it doesn't hit the same as it used to, and I wish I could kind of forget it so I could watch it again for the first time. Like, I just wish I could relive that first time feeling again. Well, basically last night I watched Annabelle Creation. That is my all-time favorite movie, and I know I shouldn't have. I usually only let myself watch that on the weekend, but I was conducting an experiment for science, and this is what I wanted to do, because I have done this before and it worked, but I've never even thought about sharing this with anyone. I did look into it to see if anybody else talked about it. Nobody's talked about it, so I guess I'm the only one, and I thought I would share my words of wisdom with you guys so you can try it out for yourself. So I watched Annabelle Creation last night, and as I was saying, have you ever watched a movie so many times repeatedly that it just becomes kind of boring? Well, that doesn't happen to me with Annabelle Creation. I love that film, and I could watch it again and again and again without it ever getting boring. But however, I did want to try out something which I'd never done before with this movie. I thought, you know, it would be kind of cool to try out my little technique that I've known about for a while. I've done this with Stand By Me. I've done this with Wrong Turn. I've done it with a bunch of movies over time. Even Hocus Pocus was one of them. This is just something I've done throughout my life, but I've never, like I said, I've never told anybody. Now I'm going to tell you so you can do the same thing. I've seen Annabelle Creation so many times that I might actually be the biggest fan in the world. Like, I guarantee, I'm willing to bet my life and every penny in my bank right now that if you strapped me to some kind of machine that could like detect everyone in the world and how many times they've watched that movie, I would win. Like, I'm not even kidding. I love it. It's something that I'm very passionate about. Not just Annabelle Creation, that is my favorite of the Conjuring universe, but I just love all of the Conjuring movies in general. Last night I wanted to do this thing where I flip. This sounds crazy, but trust me, flip, like mirror the actual movie that you're watching. That's all you have to do, and it feels like you're watching it for the first time again. And it's so crazy that like it can make you feel a little nauseous or dizzy, like it did for me, because it's so unrecognizable when everything's flipped. If you can't figure out a way to do that, I use my editing program to do that. But if you want to just like put a mirror there and just watch it through the mirror, that also works. The only problem is, if you're going to be watching something that's got like a lot of writing in, and you're not going to understand that because the writing goes backwards. But in Annabelle Creation, there really isn't much of that, except for like when the doll leaves notes saying, "Come find me," and things like that. That's about it. So it was pretty easy to get through. However, I love the Mullins house in that movie. It's my dream home. I want a farmhouse like that one day, and like I love everything about it. The uniqueness of the 1940s style, the staircase that kind of spirals and goes around with the chair lift that Janice goes on. And I just love it. I recognize, like, I know that house more than I know my own house. Like, I literally know everything about that house. But when I watched this movie last night in, like, mirrored, it was so unrecognizable. It threw me off. I know the word for word, like, script to that movie as well. So it's so strange because you're watching, the actors are the same. They're the same people. They're saying the same lines. You know what's coming. But it's almost like they're in a completely different location. It's like they've remade the movie, the same actors, the same script. They've refilmed the movie, but in a completely different place, because it's flipped, and it really does fuck with your head. It's so disorientating, it's so confusing, and it kind of makes you feel a little dizzy, and it's so hard to like wrap your head around that because everything is the opposite way around. And I know it doesn't sound probably that big of a deal, but honestly, like when you do this, you will realize just how kind of crazy everything feels, to the point where I actually like, it like made me think, when I was done watching it, I almost felt like I was in the mirror. Like, I turned around and I was expecting my house to look the opposite. Like, I got used to it. But it really does feel like I said to you guys not that long ago, I attempted to watch Annabelle Creation a couple of weeks ago, and I was having a hard time focusing because I've been so overthinky lately and so distracted by everything. I was sitting there, I was on my phone, picking up my phone every couple of seconds, sitting there looking around, getting lost in my thoughts, and then going back to the movie and realizing like I've missed half of it, and I couldn't focus, and that was really upsetting me. So I wanted to try this experiment, and it worked. Like, I was focused, I was watching the whole time, I was taking everything in because it was flipped. That's all there was to it. The characters look a little different, but that's because, like, you know, when you look in a mirror sometimes, or like you look in a mirror and you see what you see, but everybody else sees you as different. It's only when you see somebody else that you know looking in a mirror right beside you and you're just like, huh, you look so different in the mirror. Like, that's the kind of thing that happens with the movie, but they're still recognizably the person that you know and the character that you know. The only thing is the setting that's different. It's so different, and it feels like a different place. Normally with the Mullins house and Annabelle Creation, I feel home, I feel cozy and kind of warm. But this time it made the house feel in some parts bigger. Like, the downstairs felt bigger. The stairs, like, I never realized how big the stairs looked from the other angle. But it also felt like kind of empty and cold. It didn't feel like home. It didn't feel cozy to me. It didn't feel like recognizable at all. I was having a hard time. Like, I knew what was coming up with the script and everything like that. I knew the certain scenes that were coming up. But I was looking in the wrong place. I couldn't get used to that. Like, I was kind of waiting for something to happen on the left side of the screen, and then it would happen on the right. And I was like, oh, whoa, this is trippy. It kind of gives the illusion that you're watching it for the first time. Like, you can't stop watching just because everything's so different. And you're just like trying to wrap your head around it, and it sucks you in. And then you're literally like watching it as if it's new again. Like, you're watching it for the first time. And although you know the script and you know everything that's going to happen, you just can't stop watching because it's different. It's the same movie, but different. And it's such a hard thing to explain. But I really encourage you guys. It might sound crazy, but it really worked for me. It might sound crazy, but I encourage you to give it a try. Like, watch a movie that you love and you've seen a million times over, but watch it with the screen flipped, like mirrored. Not like upside down, not going backward. Like, I'm not saying watch from the end going backward and rewind to the start. That's just silly. I'm not silly. I know smart stuff. And this is smart. Like, trust me, it sounds crazy, but it's smart. Like, I seriously encourage you to try it and let me know how it works for you. And like I said, if you don't have any kind of software or anything that's got the capabilities of flipping horizontally, you could just stick a mirror right there and just watch it through a mirror. That could work too. That might even feel crazier. What if you end up in the mirror? Like, what if when the movie's done, you realize you're the one that's in the mirror? That's a scary story. Like I said, it does sound silly, it does sound weird, but trust me, try it. I would encourage you to actually try this little thing. It's a little website that I've been on before. But if you get like a scene that you love from that movie on YouTube, and then copy where it says youtube.com, replace that with mirrorthevideo.com. So instead of it being like www.youtube.com and then the URL, just delete the YouTube part and replace it with mirror the video. And that's it. And then it will play the video that you're watching, but it will flip it for you. So you can kind of get like a little sample of what you're in for if you watch the entire movie in like mirrored. It's just a pretty good website for like a little sample of like flipping something. But yeah, I encourage you to try it. Let me know how it works out for you, or even let me know if you've ever done it before, because it really does feel crazy, and I'd encourage you to try it. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out and chase your dreams.